Good late Thursday, early Friday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you the latest look here at that Doppler radar. You can see some shower activity. The coastal waters, a little bit north central Florida, but not too big of a deal. But I know you can kind of see some of those green areas off toward the west. That's indicative of at least a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms on the very left side of that screen there, that lightest green there, indicative of general thunderstorms expected over the next 24 hours, 7 a.m. Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday. The newest information there just coming on out from the Storm Prediction Center. So just something to kind of take note of there as we look out toward the west. You can kind of see not much going on in the eastern part of this, but further out, we do have some thunderstorm activity, even a flash flood warning there as you're getting closer toward Lake Charles. Some of this activity pretty strong. We've had some severe thunderstorm warnings. We're supposed to have a tornado threat there kind of materialize around Houston, but that never really was the storyline, thankfully, there on that Thursday. I know we had a enhanced risk there, an enhanced risk of severe weather in play as we're looking at 3 out of 5. But I ended up not seeing any type of tornado warnings, which is good news. Doesn't mean things won't come together eventually off toward the east here to some degree, but the threat's a 1 out of 5 along the coast here. The Louisiana coast, the Mississippi coast, the Alabama coast, Florida. You can kind of see some of these areas further in too in this as you get up there. Now it goes further north in Alabama upwards. There are areas even as far north about Selma and Montgomery. So something to kind of look at there for that Friday. We'll keep an eye on things right now. Again, looking like the more scattered severe weather would stay up toward the west. If we had anything, it'd be a really rogue, isolated type of warning event here toward our 62 counties, and it's looking better and better for that high school football action around Stark Friday night. That game where Pensacola Catholics coming into town here. Now, other games across the region, especially further off toward the west, we'll have to see. Things could be a little bit trickier depending on where the games are exactly here, based on the timeline that we're kind of looking at here. I know we'll just kind of keep our eyes on things here as we're looking at some of the model guidance and the behind the scenes. It just kind of depends on where you're at. You might be okay there for the games. It just kind of depends on how long they go and how the action comes in, because the models really have things coming in. Maybe they're around, it looks like, at 10 o'clock maybe. They are on that Friday night. So most of the games will be wrapping up by then. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. But right now, things better for the high school football compared to that game there Saturday night of the ACC Championship there in Charlotte, North Carolina. FSU, number 4 in the country, taking on number 14 Louisville. We'll get to that forecast in a moment. Not 100% chance of rain up there, but definitely a chance. Now, the storm chance is more toward the south because you have a more favorable environment for that. Current temperature is pretty cool still, but nothing like what we saw the last couple of mornings here where we had those freezing conditions across parts of the region. You can see 50 degrees toward Tallahassee, 55 Gainesville there. Kind of giving you guys an idea of what we're talking about. 58 in Ocala. So again, I just kind of giving you guys a breakdown of what we're dealing with here in terms of just the overall temperature story right now. I know it is December 1st officially since we're past midnight, actually just past 1 a.m. Eastern now. And that Atlantic hurricane season. Let's go ahead and pull up our name list here. Probably about the last time we pull this up here this year. I would think probably still talk about Adalia some more, obviously we would. But in terms of the name list for this year, unless we have something else develop, that Atlantic hurricane season, it's officially ended here. You can see we stopped short of Vincent Whitney on the list. But whenever we get Adalia, of course, technically there's still a small chance of some development here into or December, but I'm not too concerned here at this point. We'll watch, but really a month where the chances of tropical cyclone pretty low. But if something happens, we'll let you guys know. But we're more in that El Nino pattern here now, so that would kind of seemingly maybe really reduce those chances here. I haven't had anything really develop recently, even toward November. But now here's the SPC outlooks. I know we just got a new outlook for that Friday. They go a little bit further back toward the west of the marginal here. Showing this more for Saturday. You can kind of see that's the current outlook for Saturday still, as you get an idea of what's going on out toward Mobile, out toward areas there in southern Alabama, Dothan in there, even in toward our covered area, southwest and south central Georgia. So and areas like Gadsden County there too in our Florida Big Bend region. Some type of severe threat here really coming into play as we're looking at things on that Saturday. It's a possibility we could have some scattered severe storms and isolated tornadoes, some damage and wind gusts, of course. I could be interfering with some of those viewing plans or some of those big college football games on Saturday. So just keep that in mind here, that those might have to get interrupted by some of the local stations and markets there, especially out toward the west, maybe even the Jacksonville market or something further east, but probably more Tallahassee, Albany. Here could be something here that could have an impact on some of those games, at least with some interruptions. Hopefully it's not nothing here that's too long term. Of course, we'll be coming on for any tornado warning within our 62 counties. We'll highlight those again in just a moment, but just wanted to give you that heads up here, just in case we get a rogue type of threat here in play. Again, hopefully that doesn't really become the storyline here on that Saturday, but it is at least a possibility. So just to kind of keep that in mind there as you're looking at things, and just kind of have patience here in these situations, because it is very important. Stations on the air when we have tornado warning storms in different covered areas. So that's at least, again, a possibility on Saturday. Hopefully we'll get out of it without anything like that taking place. But again, just something to kind of keep in mind as we go ahead and see those tornado safety tips. Again, the chance is pretty low, but not completely zero whenever a tornado watches issued. Right now, not expecting that. But if you were to have one of those, just stay tuned for the latest and charge devices and have multiple ways to receive alerts. It's really just a good thing to always do that. When a tornado warning issue does, make sure that means you need to take shelter because a tornado has been detected using radar or spotted. But you want to avoid, really, if you can, taking shelter in a mobile home. Get inside a sturdy building. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible here. And to protect yourself from flying debris, put on a bicycle helmet here. So again, just some important safety tips to pass along as we're kind of looking at things here in toward the Weather Center. Just trying to give you the very latest here on what is going on as we go ahead and look ahead now here a little bit more with that coverage map. Our covered area, of course, we're always on for any tornado warning storm within our 62 counties here. So just make sure to be tuning in here from my end here with all these different platforms if we have a tornado warning storm pop up. I'm really expecting that, not really expecting that here in terms of having multiple, but maybe one rogue, one for just a little bit or something like that. Probably more severe thunderstorm warnings if we even got warnings here. I believe we get out of it with no warnings, but of course we'll be on top of things here. Whatever happens in terms of if there are warnings, we'll be on Facebook, KC Cloud WX, Cloud Weather there as well on that platform, Twitter platform / it's also Codex, of course, at Cloud KC, YouTube at Cloud Weather. Make sure if you have not hit that subscribe button, do so. It's youtube.com / Cloud Weather, and then Twitch there, Cloud Weather, and then the website cloudweather.com. I know you have the interactive radar available there as well for when we're not on the air. And just reminding you guys here of the rainfall potential. This kind of says you where the greatest concern lies here as we're looking at things, as we're kind of looking at things here in toward the timeline. So you can kind of see here the heaviest rain more out toward Louisiana. Some of those areas need to rain, just don't want too much too quick. But southern Mississippi, southern Alabama there, the western Florida panhandle. In our covered area, you see closer to an inch and a half there, maybe toward Tallahassee, Albany, that area. A little bit less further off toward the east and southeast toward, even less maybe toward the historic area, maybe quarter to half inch here for the next 7 days. So that's a little bit less precipitation. Again, that can kind of change around just a little here, but that's what we're expecting here. What the Weather Prediction Center is expecting at this point. As we go ahead and see some fog safety tips here as well, because there could be some issues with some of that dense fog around tonight. Not a huge deal, I don't think, but just want to throw these out there just in case you have to deal with any of that. Hopefully we won't have an advisory needing to be issued, but still could have a little bit of hazardous driving condition acts in there due to low visibility. To slow down and give yourself extra time to reach your destination. Make sure your vehicle is as visible as possible to other vehicles by using your low beam headlights, and leave plenty of room between you and the vehicle in front of you. as we go ahead and show you now high school football. Looking there, just kind of giving you guys the latest with that forecast for that Friday night. For that game there, the Bradford Tornadoes, my Bradford Tornado, that's where I went to school here on that North Central Florida level. That's where we're at. We're based in Bradford County, and I know if they win this round, they've had some trouble getting out of this round last couple of times here, but as you're looking back over the last few years or so, several years, and you can kind of see here though, this game looking like temperature being in the mid-60s, 30% chance of rain, mostly cloudy, maybe some isolated showers coming in, hopefully not. But if Bradford wins, it'll be the first time since the 1980s they made the state title game in football. That'd be really exciting here, folks. And let's just hope that happens here. Do the best they can for 4 quarters and any potential overtime. And Bradford hopefully will be in that state title game there in Tallahassee next Friday. So just kind of looking at that there. And in college football, FSU, if they win Saturday night, they should cross their fingers here with the committee. But if Florida State wins Saturday night, they should be in the college football playoffs here. They would have probably proven here with a win against Louisville that they deserve to be in that last 4. 8 p.m. Saturday on ABC in Charlotte, North Carolina. It looks like there could be some rain though around, so keep that in mind here. Hopefully not any storms. I'm expecting lightning. It doesn't seem at this point, but around 60 degrees. You saw mid-60s for the Bradford game. We're around 60 for this one here Saturday night in Charlotte. Go Noles, go Bradford. Huge football games coming up. Both teams undefeated this season. So even if the outcomes don't go the way of FSU and the way of Bradford, it's been a great season here. For Bradford, it would have ended. For FSU, a bowl would be up ahead if they were to lose to Louisville. But 12-0 for FSU, 13-0 for Bradford. Just doing such a great job getting to this stage here in the football season unbeaten. Just again, go FSU, go Bradford here as we're looking ahead in toward the timeline. And now let's go ahead and look at that extended forecast over the next 7 days. You can see here 40% chance of rain on that Friday there, 60% on Saturday and Sunday. So, again, as we're watching the FSU game, my alma mater there, Tallahassee-based FSU, I know we could see 77 degrees there for that high on Saturday, 75 on Sunday. But cooling off some toward next week. You see a cool down, again, that up and down pattern here. So we're above average of the temperatures for now, but then we'll fall closer to average and then even below average. But you see next Thursday, after we get rid of this rainy pattern here, you see 63 for the high. Next Thursday, 39 for the low. So those conditions, they look a little bit on the chilly side again, like what we were dealing with some this past week. So you kind of get the rain at times, but when it's not raining, there's not storms around. It's going to be pretty nice, actually. Unseasonably warm for early December here across our area. So, again, just kind of breaking that down here for you guys as we're looking at things. Let's go ahead and look at some more information. Is there any questions or any comments from any of the viewers out there? I don't see any, but just again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me here on this Thursday night, early Friday here, giving you guys the very latest on what's going on with the weather. I know it's just really something I'm trying to do here to give you guys the very latest. Let's go ahead though right now and move away from the graphics. We'll get on over here toward another look at that Doppler radar and kind of see what's happening here. Again, some of that action, some lightning in Louisiana right now here, but no severe thunderstorm, tornado warning. Haven't had any tornado warnings out there as we're looking back. You see a flash flood warning though, Calcasieu, Cameron, Jefferson Davis parishes there in Louisiana. They've had some rain there, some areas getting toward 3 to 6 inches. So it's a good bit of precip there. I know as we're looking at things in a Doppler, there is some weak rotation with the Jackson. So something to have to watch in toward Louisiana later on in the night here. In fact, we do have some significant weather advisories. Let's see if we can pull up here. I think we have it up here in our other source, or right out of Lake Charles. I know that had to be really repaired after Hurricane Laura came through there, going back in the timeline. But again, just kind of giving you guys the latest here on what the Doppler shows. I know that back in 2020, the recovery process still goes on in calculus repairs and some of the other zones, but you see a little bit of rotation. That cell there moving on toward Vermilion Parish there, Lafayette there. You can see some heavier rain coming in the picture. These grayish boxes indicative of significant weather advisories, so that's something to kind of keep our eyes on. That's something that we need to watch. Some of that rotation looks fairly intense. Not enough for a warning yet. If they back it up, scrub between here, not quite tight enough yet, but wouldn't be out of the question that this tightens up enough for some type of warning later on. So we'll watch and we'll track that in terms of just the overall national picture. Not something we'd have to come on for. I can't imagine here, because of course it's about our 62 counties here, unless something was really significant on the national level here. And we're not expecting it at this point. We had that small potential of that on that Thursday to where Texas never really materialized. So that was some good news in terms of not getting severe thunderstorm warnings around Houston. Upgraded to tornado warning. Didn't really see anything like that at all. Any type of those warnings in play there toward the Houston area, Harris County, and the like. So again, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. Again, all the different platforms, of course. We're gonna come on only if it was something like a tornado emergency, probably in North Southeast Texas. That risk went up to moderate. Didn't have anything like that. Didn't even have tornado warnings or super thunderstorms really at all, again, around Houston. But Facebook, Casey Cloud Everyday Acts Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather, you have Twitch Cloud Weather, Cloud.com. So a lot of different platforms you can get the latest information on. For now, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. Have a great night out there. As we're looking at things here, I'll zoom out just a tad more as we leave you with a view. See, a lot colder air out toward like northwest Texas there and the lake, in Colorado. You see that single digit reading there. That really kind of stands out as we're looking at things up there in North Colorado. But again, right now, again, giving you guys all the information you need, I think, for now. Have a great night out there. Enjoy that weekend. Again, go Noles, go Bradford. Big games ahead. Bradford wins. They're in the FHSA state title game for 2S. And if FSU wins, they still be in the college football playoff. Also, rooting for all the other high school football teams in Florida and Georgia on the verge of state title games as well that are within our local coverage area. So hopefully those teams can all get the job done as well in their various regions, various games there across the two states.